At Hillary Clinton deposition wrapping up. Now House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer now at the microphone. Let's listen into what he has to say here on Live Now.
Learned a lot. There were a lot of questions that we asked that we weren't satisfied with the answers that we got, but we will continue to move forward. Any of my colleagues, every member of the committee asked questions. And
I would just say one of the things I learned today is if you really have specific questions about the Clinton Global Initiative or the relationship between the Clintons and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, you got to ask Bill Clinton.
That's a great point. The number of times that she said, "I don't know, you'll have to ask my husband," was more than a dozen, and I'll put it like that.
If I can just hop in. Also, too, I think it's important to note that we have been working in a bipartisan fashion to make this as painless as possible for the people that we're bringing in, but also to ensuring that there's accountability and transparency. You will hear a lot of spin, sometimes out of politicos in Washington, but the fact is that it's our goal and objective following this, and we also too did ask for follow-up from the Secretary on producing legislation that will help prevent this from ever happening again in the future, obviously working to combat trafficking, which has been a cause incredibly important, not just to myself, to Chairman Comer, to Representative Nancy Mace, but many members of this Oversight Committee. And so we are looking forward to continuing to provide that transparency. And Nancy, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'll add.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to thank Secretary Clinton for being here for as many hours as she was here today. She took every question from every single member. I want to thank my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats alike, for being here today and asking questions. I very much look forward to speaking to her husband, former President Bill Clinton, tomorrow. We have a lot of work to do. Not surprised by some of the answers, surprised by some, and you'll get the transcript very soon, but I want to thank everyone who participated. This is nowhere near from over. And making my notes today, I've got names of individuals that I believe we need to haul to the Oversight Committee and ask them questions, ask them their perspective, ask them about other potential witnesses or victims or potential predators. I think this is going to go on for a long time. There are millions of files. There are a lot of people involved. And some of the gaps that have been seen, especially early on, are very evident after speaking with her today. And I just want to thank everyone for their time. And we have a lot of work to do, and I'm willing to work with anyone who's willing to work with me. I'll work with you on getting to the bottom of this, making sure that this just doesn't ever happen again. And when it does, those predators are held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Thank you.
Anybody else want to make a comment? Go ahead, and then we'll, whenever everybody says.
So this is a nonpartisan issue. If you've read the Epstein files, there's unspeakable evil in there. And the American people and the victims deserve transparency and accountability. The biggest thing I think we need to know is how do we strengthen laws to prevent human trafficking in America, if not the world? And how does someone with such evil infiltrate the highest levels of the U.S. government and world leaders? So we're going to continue to ask those questions and get answers for the American people.
Anybody else want to say anything? We'll be happy to answer a few questions.
Mr. Cooler, can I ask?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Secretary Clinton said in her opening statement, if Republicans were serious about investigating Jeffrey Epstein, that you would call President Trump to testify. Mm-hmm. Why won't you?
Well, President Trump has answered hundreds, if not thousands, of questions from you all about Epstein, and I think he's been very transparent in releasing the documents. We expect hopefully more documents to come in. We're still assessing the 3 million plus documents that we have. We obviously will be moving on to the next phase and bringing more people in for questions. So again, remember, this was a bipartisan subpoena by members of both parties to bring in Ms. Clinton. And it's just a shame that it took 7 months. And I know every member of our committee has a big list of names they want to bring in. These are big, powerful people that hire very skilled law firms, and they delay. And part of when you delay in this investigation, it takes 7 months to bring a witness in like it did today. That creates a problem. So we're trying to move as quickly as we can. We're obviously following what's going on in the United Kingdom now. We're following, everything. I know that there are a lot of eyes, and hopefully the media will play a role in this. The media has a role. The documents have been made public. We're going to continue to fight for more redactions. There are some names who are redacted. I think we all agree shouldn't be redacted. I don't think they're who you think they are. So that's why we want those names.
Chairman, if I could just add in real quick to follow up on that, though, we asked specifically the victims, and we were all there, as well as the Speaker and the Democrat members of Congress, if the president was involved, and they exonerated him. So why would we bring in the president of the United States, who's been exonerated, who cooperated with law enforcement, and who released the files when we had to fight? We basically threatened to hold the Clintons in contempt if they didn't want to come in. So to be clear, we had cooperation. We asked the victims directly, and he was exonerated. So I would encourage all of you to at least do the fair reporting and understanding that just like you would not publish false statements about the Clintons and some of the allegations that have been made about them, you would give the President of the United States the same respect.
And
Yeah, we're going where the evidence is leading us.
Hey, Mr. Chairman.
Can I ask?
Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Mr. Chairman,
President.
President Trump has released more files than anyone during the Biden administration. 0 files, no DOJ involvement. He has secured the border, lowered human trafficking, and passed the House Republicans, and President Trump has passed anti-human trafficking legislation just his first year.
Yeah.
Mr. Comer.
Yeah.
Transparency, as you guys said moments ago, can you release any findings that were discussed today? You said
We're going to release that video, and you'll be able to see the whole thing as quick as we can get the video produced. But I think what will be interesting is some of the comments that Secretary Clinton made at the very end about Jeffrey Epstein. And I think that would apply to others that you all obviously have an interest in too. So,
Mr. Comer, can I ask? You said that Bill Clinton is the man to ask questions.
That's what Mrs. Clinton said many times today.
Why bring Hillary Clinton
again for the 15th time? This was a motion made by Democrats and Republicans in a subcommittee on oversight. There were a list of people to bring in, and Bill and Hillary Clinton were on the list. And I'm glad we brought Hillary Clinton in because she's never really answered questions until in the last week about her relationship with Epstein and Maxwell. So she answered questions, and hopefully they'll be helpful as we move forward. Go ahead, yes.
On the Clinton Global Initiative, was that your main focus today with Secretary Clinton, and did you feel like you got the answers you were looking for?
Well, I don't want to disclose too much of what was said, but most of the questions that we asked about the Clinton Global Initiative, which were very specific questions, some of them were backed by emails and other documents that have been released by the Department of Justice. She said that she was a senator, and you would have to ask her husband that tomorrow. So we have a lot of questions for her husband tomorrow, and I'm confident that deposition will last even longer than this one. So, all right, thank you all. Thank you all.
All right, you're just listening in there to James Comer and other House Republicans there in this Oversight Committee as they're walking back inside of this Performing Arts Center in Chappaqua, New York. Some interesting comments after 6 hours of deposition of the former First Lady, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. So that transpired. Lots of questions, as they alluded to, about the Clinton Global Initiative, saying that some of the comments at the very end might be interesting. He reiterated that they would release it as quickly as possible. So we might get a glimpse soon as tomorrow about what was going on, but 6 hours of video is going to be tough to come through, so we're going to keep our eyes on that. Other interesting notes is that James Comer, the chair, said that Hillary Clinton initiated more than a dozen times that, quote, "you'll have to ask my husband," and that will come tomorrow, as the former president, Bill Clinton, will be deposed tomorrow by that same group of lawmakers. Also, Nancy Mace acknowledged that Hillary answered all of these questions, thanked her for her time, despite this taking 7 months, a long delay to make this happen. Obviously, no questions for several other lawmakers there, interesting, but also noting that there were several redacted names that they believe shouldn't have been redacted. So we'll see if the Democrats come out of this Performing Arts Center there just north of New York City in Chappaqua, New York, at this Performing Arts Center about what they have to say, their viewpoint on it, because they are demanding transparency in the release of this video, of this deposition. So we'll see what comes of it here on Live Now from Fox. So